teaching?
Oh, now, Melissa, you've really put me on the spot. There was so much I loved about teaching. I loved being smarter than the rest.
Of course.
I loved the respect that it got me.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that all the girls looked up to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just a nerd at a grade 11 back home, but
Yeah.
down there I was, right?
Yeah.
I liked the different style of living in the community that I ended up in and the community that I left, because some of my education took place in St. John's and all of it, or just outside of St. John's, in Portugal Cove, whereas I had never lived in a place where there was only 70-some people in the community and 26 people in the school in all grades, and where you were isolated from the outside world. You had no telephone or no electric lights or no, and my dad thought I'd never hack it because it was so different, and what he would have thought would have been deprived of a lot of things. But I loved that because that's one of the things that I did love the most. It was a whole different lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I loved getting out of school in the afternoon and perhaps having one of the men call out and say, "Mr. King, we're going out sealing. Did you want to come?" And you'd run down and get aboard the boat and go out sealing with them.
Yeah.
Or Saturday, you'd get one of your older students who you'd be friends with, because you had to be friends with your older students because it was them or the senior citizens in the community, because all the men were working and all the women were working. So you'd have probably a friend and you'd go in and put down rabbit slips and catch rabbits or
So you
go
were
out
the same
fishing.
age as your students?
Well, I was 17, say, after a short while after I went teaching, and my
Yeah.
students were 14 and 15, you know. So
It's
yeah,
not a big difference.
not a big difference, no.
Wow.
But I love I came back to that little community. After I had been there a year, I went to university a year.
Okay.
And as I was finishing up that year at university, I got a message, telegram, they call them messages back then. I got from the chairman of the board, the local board in that place, wondering if I would consider coming back
Yeah.
for another year, because they didn't think I'd bother to come back to their little school, because now I was university educated. I had been to
Okay.
university for a year. Right? And they called to see if I'd come back. So I went back there a second year. That's how much I loved it. I really enjoyed it. Oh, and by the way, I had to blow my own horn. Forgive me.
Okay.
The year that I was there, that first year where I was there as a boy myself, teaching, I signed on 6 or 7, I think it was, in grade 9, I'd have to count them up in my head, students for public examinations, which were, everybody did public examinations back then. No school examinations meant anything once you got to grade 9, it was just the publics.
Okay.
And I think just about all of them passed their grade 9.
All your students.
And that was the first time that students from that school had passed the public
Wow.
exam. So I was a real hero. That's why they went to get me back.
Yeah. And how many teachers could say that?
I don't know, but I can. And I bumped into some of those very students years later. Some of them working at Alliant in St. John's from that little community. You know, as some of them have become very successful as parents and raised beautiful families. It's a wonderful job. I hardly recommend teaching to anybody if they can stand attention. And learn to live with the little bit of disrespect you get from certain layers today. It's still worth it, I think, though.
Okay. Well, that's good.
It's been fun talking to you.
Thank you.
Okay, my darling. Here's a picture of me at my old school, St. Lawrence in Portugal Cove, about 2 years before I went teaching. 2, 3 years maybe. This is grade 9. This is me in grade 9, baby. As the what is it? The Bare Naked Ladies. This is me in grade 9. Okay. And this is me the year that I graduated, grade 11, with two of my old classmates. They were good friends. And I was quite happy to have one on each knee and to know that I was going teaching in a month or two. This is the place I stayed and the people I stayed with in Mirage Harbor. Uncle Gordon, Aunt Annie, and their daughter Lillian. Everybody, of course, in Newfoundland in those days was aunt and uncle, even though there were no biological relation. You still call them as a title of respect. They were almost like second family to me. We became quite close. This is me that year that I was teaching down at that little one-room school, in a sweater that I knit that year when I had my foot twisted over, skating on the harbor ice, and learned to knit myself a sweater. No, not strange, but that's the way it was. These are a couple of my students and the old gentleman I lived with. That's Cyril there in front, and Clyde, the smaller guy in the back on the right, and Uncle Gord on the left, just coming up the arm in motorboat. And I show this picture because that little guy Clyde built that little boat, that little Rodney, little model, but it would hold up a small child. And he gave it to me and I took it back home. It was quite a hit with my little brother. And just happened when going through the pictures, there's a couple of the girls that were in grade 9 that year. That's 2 of 5. The girls outnumbered the boys almost 2 to 1. Okay, Joyce and Pansy. Yep, where are they now? And then the year that I came home and went to university, between my first and second year at Herring Neck, Mirage Harbor, Herring Neck. That's me and an old girlfriend. Again, I believe she's married in St. John's now. Wish them all well and hope they've enjoyed their life as much as I've enjoyed mine. Everything was young then. Everything you did young, including getting married. That's my wife, very good wife, and her dad and my dad. Back when I was all of, no, well, not quite 20, 19 years old, and she was 18. Like I said, everything was young. There's a whole lot more, but I don't want to bore you stiff, so we'll let it go at that.